So are you ready to PR yourself? We'll remove the mystery from all things PR, and we'll discuss everything from our top strategies to tips and tricks and everything that you can utilize to further enhance your brand or your message. I've been in media, I'm a journalist, and I'm also a publicist. I am Leah Frazier, CEO of Think3 Media, and your host for PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. Let's go. And welcome back to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. I am your host, Leah Frazier, CEO of Think3 Media, based out of Dallas, Texas. And we are back with another episode that's going to focus on social media. I thought I was done for this year, and then I recorded this episode with Madison, Hollimon, and she literally, like, if you're able to watch this on YouTube, during certain parts of the interview, you're just going to see my mouth drop. Like, I thought I was good, and now you're telling me I have to do this, or this was just released and I didn't know this had come out. So she is just a wealth of knowledge, and I cannot wait for you to hear our episode so that you can start taking advantage of these tips that she's just generously handed out during our interview. But before we get into it, man, I cannot believe that October is here. Like, I feel like it just turned 2025 and it is almost 2026. Like, what is happening, folks? I don't know. And outside of all of that, things are just, the energy out here is just a little bit insane. We've got a lot going on in the community, in the world, and everybody is just feeling it. So I hope each and every one of you out there is taking good care of yourselves. You're getting a little bit of self-care, and you're just minding your own business at this point. Something funny that happens, I normally will do like a PR fail or maybe a PR win, but I'm not even going to talk about that. I came across the absolute most insane video the other day. Like, my YouTube algorithm, I don't know. Like, I love true crime. I listen to all the true crime podcasts. I watch all the true crime shows and documentaries on Netflix. Like, I am a true crime junkie. So clearly my algorithm knows this. And I'm sitting up watching YouTube one night, a couple of nights ago, and the most insane video hits my feed. And the title of the video was "Man Confesses to Killing His Parents During News Interview, Arrested in Front of the Station." And I immediately clicked, like something just took over my fingers. Like, what are they talking about? How does this happen? And I've got to watch this. So it comes out of CBS Channel 6 in Albany. I had to look at the date. Like, it literally just happened. They just posted this on September 25th. And during this interview, you see a seasoned journalist. They said that his name is Greg Floyd. He's based out of CBS in Albany. Apparently, they said he's been a journalist for about 45 years and that he just announced his retirement on September the 2nd of this year. And here comes this interview where this guy, his name is Lorenz Krause, Kraus, reaches out to the station and says, "Hey, I want to come on to the station because, I have something to say." And apparently he wanted to sit down with the news station. And when I watched it, it's like he reached out because he politically wanted to say something about euthanasia, about where folks who are older and more elderly, or maybe they have some sort of chronic illness, or like in layman's terms, like, they have the right to be put out of their misery without the state and the federal government kind of hopping in. And so within this interview, you see him kind of going back and forth with the journalist, Greg. And at some point during the interview, he's telling the story of how his parents, Franz and Teresa Krause, he was taking care of them. He was the caregiver. And at some point, they pass away. And I'm just watching this interview and this journalist is like grilling him because it's been 8 years since the crime has happened. It's been 8 years since his parents have passed, and no one knew or no one could suspect what was happening. And so the journalist just keeps pressuring him. And then at some point, he made his confession. And when I tell you guys, like, my mouth was on the floor. And this has absolutely nothing to do with PR, but in a way, I guess he didn't PR himself very well, because he PR'd himself right into jail. Like, he literally left that interview and they arrested him on the spot, is what the internet is saying. And so I get done with this. I send it to my sister. She's a true crime junkie. And she sends me back. She's like, Leah, I went down the rabbit trail and there's a follow-up video. I'm like, a follow-up video? This thing has only been out like 3 days. So they've already done a follow-up interview. They send the same journalist back to interview him now in jail and pretty much ask him, like, more questions. And his defense attorney quickly steps in about 8 minutes in and like ends the entire interview. But this was the most bizarre thing I have ever seen in my life. And I was just sitting there watching it like, what am I watching right now? Like, did this really happen? And the comments are just hilarious. But even though it's not a funny situation, and sometimes you just can't believe people, you can't believe what you're hearing. And I couldn't believe that he just reached out after 8 years of practically getting away with it. He reached out to the news station, and because he wanted to say something, he just had to have his little platform, which makes me think that he's quite possibly like a sociopath. And confesses, and you just go down this rabbit trail. So that's what I've been doing, you guys. I've been going down rabbit trails I have no business going down. Then I decide the following night to watch the kid influencer documentary on Netflix. Shouldn't have watched that because I go down a whole nother rabbit trail. I get upset about how these kid influencers are pretty much being exploited on the internet. And then I'm like, you know what, Leah, you just gotta stop. Like, think of nice, fluffy things. Think of flowers in the springtime. Like, let's just think of joyous things, because this is just it's insanity. So that's what I have been doing. But on that same vein of talking about influencers, you guys, for those of you who have been listening to this show long enough, I have a love-hate relationship with influencers. Our last episode that I had with Cynthia Smoot and Zach Wilson, both of them influencer specialists, Cynthia as an influencer herself and a publicist, and Zach as an influencer agent. We just openly discussed about where are we in terms of influencer marketing in 2025 and going into 2026. And in 2024, the stats were that it was a $21 billion industry, and now it has well exceeded that. So you guys know how I feel about influencers. Well, I get this email to come speak on a panel, 2 influencers here in Dallas. And so I go speak on the panel, and the influencers walk in. So they come from all over. Some are from Dallas, and then some traveled from other states. And they were there with a talented group, social media group called the Arch Social. And they had them there, and they took them to all these different places in Dallas. Like, they did Pilates, and they got matchas, and they went to the dry bar and got their hair done. And it was a whole influencer game. So we were supposed to do a panel to kind of talk to them about working with brands, brand partnerships. They wanted me to talk more so along like managing your mental health and like being a creator in that aspect. Or there was another expert that talked about growing your platform. So it was a really great panel for them. But all that to say, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this group of influencers. And just like Cynthia did when we had our episode, it really expanded my appreciation for what full-time content creators have to go through. Because some of them were even asking me, like, there was this question of, or not even fear, but this hesitation of if they press pause because they were burnt out or if they were tired. And I guess I never really considered how, like, if that is the only thing that your income depends on, how stressful it can get if the brand partnerships aren't coming through, And if it's not there and you're tired, even being able to just press pause to rest. And I'm like, y'all, you're telling me that when I'm telling you to just rest for an hour, like they were fearful of doing it. And so it was just this very open and honest conversation and panel. And it definitely expanded my appreciation for influencers. So my hat goes off to them. I learned quite a bit. But ironically, some of the things that we're talking about in this episode were brought up during the panel by the other panelists. Two incredible women who have gone off on their own. They've started their own businesses now to help influencers, to help thought leaders, and they had quite some extensive experience with Like to Know It, which is just the top, I would say, platform for influencers who are either selling products or they do outfit of the days and they try to sell clothing. Really huge, based here out of Dallas. So both women coming from some really strong marketing backgrounds. And we ended up talking about the exact same thing that Madison is going to talk about in this episode. So all that to segue into what we're getting into today. So Madison is going to talk to you guys today. Well, we were supposed to talk about some things you could do on social media, like 3 things you could do with your content to help your brand grow. And when you listen to the episode, you're going to see we kind of go all over the place, but her tips are on point. So before we get into the episode, let me tell you a little bit about Madison so that you can really appreciate this young woman. She is the owner and founder of Mad Marketing House. And I told her, you have to be mad to have a business that does social media, because social media is just insanity. So she's the owner and founder of Mad Marketing House. It is a marketing firm that specializes in authentic content creation and branding for businesses, particularly in the luxury and personal brand space. With over a decade of experience in marketing, including 5 years as an agency owner, Madison has worked with over 1,000 businesses to transform their digital presence. Her expertise in visual storytelling and social media content has helped countless brands grow their digital footprint and generate significant returns on advertising spend. Madison's agency has successfully managed over $1 million in ad spend, yielding more than $50 million in revenue for her clients. You know what? You go, girl. Because that is one hell of a resume. She's a 3rd-generation entrepreneur. She's the oldest of 5 girls. She loves her family. We talk a lot about her family. She graduated with a BBA in marketing from Augusta University Business School. She's married to her high school sweetheart, has 3 children of her own, and she prides herself on being the family manager. Can we call you a momager? She's probably the momager. When she's not building brands and empowering business owners, Madison can be found enjoying the ocean, traveling to tropical destinations, or spending quality time with her family on their farm. Madison is incredible. She's an incredible human being, but also an amazing marketer. And we're here to talk more about social media, maybe some trends that you've missed, maybe some tips that have slipped by you, because she mentioned some stuff and I thought I knew everything. I clearly do not. And so what you're going to want to do what you always do, get your pen, get your pencil, get your iPad, whatever you have to get, and come right back here after the break, because when we do, we're going to get into it with Madison Hollimon of Mad Marketing House. And we are giving you some more social media and content tips that you can start using today. So keep it locked in. When you're the bottleneck in every major decision, growth isn't just about working harder. It's about working smarter. Since 2002, Integrality has helped entrepreneurs improve their operations through consulting, accelerator programs, and AI-driven platforms like Capixi. Our expert team delivers strategic solutions that drive profitable growth and reclaim valuable time. Ready to build a business that runs without you? Visit integralityllc.com and start your evolution today. Remember sitting in your office dreaming of creating a home that's truly a sanctuary, where every sunrise held promise and every sunset brought peace? As life evolves, imagine waking up in a luxury tiny home among towering pine trees with a peaceful pond and open meadows, just minutes from the city that built your success. At Tiny Renaissance Homes, accomplished professionals rediscover what truly matters. Live happy, live healthy, live tiny. Experience glamping retreats, wellness activities, and smart investment opportunities. Your renaissance awaits. Visit tinyrenaissancehomes.com for more information. Welcome back to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. And I'm back here with Madison Hollimon. She is the founder of Mad Marketing House. We were just having a nice little giggle before we pressed record on where the name came from, because you got to be a little bit mad and a whole lot of just crazy to get into this marketing biz. But Madison, you are doing it and you are killing it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you.
So tell me a little bit about how mad you must have been to start your own business or to start your own agency in marketing. But even if it's something that you and I can giggle about, you have had some really phenomenal results for clients. Just how did you get into all of this?
So I worked for a couple different people before. I always knew I wanted to start my own, agency at some point. I didn't foresee myself starting an agency at 24 years old. But I was very eager, and as an entrepreneur, we don't really like for people to tell us what to do. So I wanted to basically just go do what I wanted to do. And one day I had just left a job and just started getting phone calls about needing marketing help. And before I knew it, I had to hire a person and get an office space. And then I needed to hire somebody again. And we just kind of naturally grew to a 18-person team. We have a good bit in office and remote, and a roster of almost 50 retainer clients. So we kind of grew over the past 4.5 years, and here we are today.
That's an amazing story. And I'm always curious too, whether folks who kind of transitioned into being their own boss, was there anything or anyone in your family who has gone through this journey before? Did you have a knack for entrepreneurship, or are you the first?
So I'm the eldest of 5 girls, and obviously always I call myself the family manager. And my dad owned and still owns an international luxury brand. They build a $2 million product, which is a boat, and they send it all over the world. And he's done that since 2000, so 25 years now. And I sat at the dinner table with Hulk Hogan. He's got the prince of different countries as his clientele. So you can imagine they're billionaire clients. And that was kind of my childhood, was witnessing him have this amazing product and brand. But at the same time, we went through 2008. His business, really took a hit those few years. And I watched him struggle as well. So I've seen the highs and lows of entrepreneurship, and I kind of always knew me and him are so much alike. I actually worked with him for 4 years before I took another job, and we would just fight. And I was like, we are just the same person. We cannot work together. And my mom really loves luxury products and designer bags. And I kind of have that same interest as she does. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford to buy myself Chanel if I worked for my dad. So I had to go out and make it happen so I could buy myself Chanel.
I appreciate people that keep it all the way real. And that's so funny, because growing up, the same was for me. I'm thinking of myself in high school. I played basketball, but I still had a couple of jobs. And it was because my mom was like, if you want to shop all the time and you want those things, or you want that particular car, you're going to have to go out and work for it yourself. And I was like, Bet. Okay, I'll do it. And I
Yeah.
did. And, I would buy myself the bags I wanted. And even when I got to college, it was the same thing. And I would have girls coming into my dorms, always wanting to borrow the things that I worked hard for. So I'm
Mhm.
not even mad at you, Madison.
It's
I'm
so
a fashion
rewarding.
girly.
It's rewarding when you buy it for yourself. Like,
Oh.
my husband does treat me to nice things, but he'll be like, "What do you want?" Like at Christmas, and I'm like, "I don't really want you to buy me anything. Like, I'll just buy myself what I want. Just get the kids something. Like, it's fine."
we that's what we're boss babes, so we'll
Yeah.
get it ourselves. But you just loving me, that's enough.
Yes, that's enough for me.
So I find it interesting. I would really love to see a picture of this boat, by the way, because I love to travel. I love just traveling all over the world. That's another reason why I love being my own boss, because I can
You'll
just
have to
do what I
look them
want.
up on Instagram. It's Adrenaline Power Boats. They constantly
Ooh,
go viral. We actually help them with marketing.
of
Um,
course.
So it's like they'll get a code. Like my husband works for my dad and sells the product, and he started a TikTok page three and a half weeks ago. He has 32,000 followers, and his one video has almost 18 million views. And he tells me every day if he walks in, "I have this many followers. I have this many followers." And he just like wants to rub it in my face because he knows that some of our brands that we take on take years to get to
Yeah.
the point. And he did it in 3 weeks because he has this like crazy $2 million boat with 5 engines, and guys just love it. So, it is what it is.
At least he's taking advantage of that, and congrats to viral success, because
Yeah.
we try to cover that here on this show. So maybe that's the key, you guys. You just got to go out and buy a $2 million boat and then hire Madison to help you promote that. What are some of the favorite places you've traveled?
So I just got back literally 2 days ago from Paris and Santorini, Greece.
Yes.
And I fell in love with Paris. I love the language. Like the way people speak is just so beautiful. And the city is so beautiful. I love history. Like if I could go buy a 200-year-old home, I would do it tomorrow. It's just the charm. And then, obviously Greece. We were on this Santorini is kind of like a mountainous island, and it's got a couple active volcanoes right next to it. So I was there for a retreat, for a business retreat. So obviously it was all a write off, but we were there and we took a boat out for the day and we swam in between the volcano and the island, and the water was like warm from the volcano.
Oh,
And it was just like having that
interesting.
experience, like, was like, this is why we go and we work as hard as we do to have our own businesses so that we get to have experiences like that. So it's very rewarding.
That is fascinating. I did not know that. We will add that to the list. So thank you so much, Madison. So, besides all of that fun stuff, we're going to get down to some of the nuts and bolts on why you've been able to build what you've been able to build. And interestingly enough, just even talking about this TikTok virality that your dad's business has recently had, one of the big things that constantly evolves and changes in marketing and PR is content. Like, what types of content should we be producing? How much of it? Like, it's a constant pain in our sides, but to you, you guys probably love it. So let's start with trends. We're almost out of 2025. I can't believe it. Going into 2026. And what are you seeing on the landscape as far as what business owners should be considering for content, or like what are there besides AI? Like what things are you
So
seeing?
I'll talk about two platforms today. We'll talk about
Yeah.
Instagram and TikTok because they're both very different.
Yeah.
Specifically for Instagram, Instagram loves to roll out new features. So anytime they roll out a new feature, everybody should jump on it because they reward you for utilizing it. So for example, right now it's trial reels. And you can upload several a day. And basically, what it does is it pushes out that reel to somebody that is not already following your page. So you're getting this like random reach of people that are similar to your followers now. You'll get follows from it, and then they'll tell you, they'll rate it, and they'll be like, "Hey, like, this performed well, you should go ahead and post it in feed. Yes.
So hold on before you go any further. So when you say trial reel, is that an option before you publish
Post your
it?
reel. Yes.
You
Yes.
keep talking. I gotta look. Keep talking.
So you go into like your reels, like to upload it, and then before you publish it, there will be an option to publish as trial reel, and you can post a couple of them a day. So typically, what I'll do is I'll do like maybe 3 at one time, and then I'll kind of check it, and it will update you and say, "Hey, like this is doing well, this isn't," and then it'll compare it to the other ones that you've done, and you'll see what direct followers you got from it and the engagement. And I think it's been around for 6 months now. Don't quote me on that. But I have clients that are utilizing it and they're killing it.
So if you upload as a trial reel, and let's say it does amazing, then you can say publish for real.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows you to keep the engagement that you garnered during the trial, or does it start it all over?
It starts it over, but it goes ahead and tells you that it's going to do well.
Okay.
But
wow.
You got all that engagement from the trial, and you basically just got all that engagement from people that aren't following you. So you got new followers from it just by trying it out.
Okay. I'm sorry. Like I normally I can talk for days. I did not know. How did I not know
What's
this?
great about it is you could take the same video, and this is what we're doing. We're taking the same video and we're trying a different hook for each video. So you can publish all 3 of those with different hooks, and you'll see which hook transpired or performed the best. And then that's the video with hook you need to publish on your feed.
So kind of like marketing, like A/B testing type deal.
Exactly.
Got it.
So aside from trial reels, they have the new edits app. So everybody loves CapCut, but I don't think people realize that CapCut is a TikTok product. So back in January, when they shut down TikTok for 2 days, everybody was all up in arms. Okay. You couldn't use CapCut either because it's a TikTok product. So Instagram came up with their own editing app called Edits. Yep. So anybody that's normally editing in CapCut and you're like big on Instagram, you need to switch to Edits. And you should, in my experience, the better reels perform when you publish that reel straight from Edits, because you'll see it in the feed. There'll be a reel and it'll say made with edits, and then it'll flip to like the location or flip to the song that's used, and they'll push your video because you're using their editing platform.
Question. Small business owner wants to work smarter, not harder. We love CapCut. Okay, now we're in edits. Any way that we can use the same video in one or the other and not get dinged in one or the other? Or do we have to recreate for one and recreate for one for Instagram and one for TikTok?
I would use edits in place of the CapCut if you're stronger on Instagram platform, or if you want to grow on Instagram. Otherwise, when it comes to TikTok, I don't know if there's any direct benefit with editing in CapCut when you post to TikTok, because you can edit in TikTok as well. But TikTok is a different beast. So like for Instagram, for example,
it is.
You don't need to be posting multiple times a day in your feed. In my experience, 4 or 5 times a week is where you should be. TikTok, you want to post several times a day.
You know what, Madison? I think we need to wrap this episode. I'm stressed and overwhelmed.
That's why you need a social media team. This is what we do.
This is a setup by Mad Marketing House and all you marketing agencies so you can have your 50 plus retainer clients. Mm-hmm. Y'all are all in cahoots with all of these apps and stuff.
I wish.
Golly. Okay. Recap, mainly for me and then y'all who are listening. 4 to 5 times Instagram. I can do
A
that.
week.
A week. I can do that. That's fine. Several times a day on TikTok.
At least 7 times a week. If you can swing twice a day, your page will grow faster.
Okay, Madison. This is not even like, I do like to laugh and joke and have a good time. And sorry, my tongue is blue. I was drinking ocean water from Sonic. And I probably should drink more with a tinge of something else in there now that we've had this conversation. I'm not even trying to be funny. So, okay. If I'm posting several times a day, 7 posts minimum on TikTok, what am I posting? Who has that kind of time? And I know they need a team, but these are small business owners that are trying to.
So you have to figure out who your audience is and what they want to see. So look back at your content that you've posted. What has performed the best?
You don't want to know.
You want to mine your audience. You want to know their age group, male or female, where they're located, what their interests are. And that's the type of content you want to create because it speaks to them and it's relatable. And especially when it comes to Instagram, you want people sharing, reposting, because that's a new feature now, the reposting.
I love the repost. Now the repost, that.
Yeah.
This other stuff you're telling me about. Okay. Anything else you want to stress me out about today? And in terms of trending, so we've got recapping for you guys that are just like me, a little bit overwhelmed. We're all going to go out and download this Edits app. Edits Instagram, CapCut TikTok. Got it. Then we have the number of times we should be posting. Also, you guys are going to try out your trial reels on Instagram. What else? Let's just pile it all on. If we're going to stress out, let's just stress out all at once, and then we can take a breather afterwards. What next?
The other thing you guys need to be doing is engaging on all of your comments. So making sure you're commenting back on as much as you can within a decent amount of time.
It's a full-time job.
Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to post and ghost. Because if you post and ghost, the platform's like, oh, well, they're not spending time on me. Like, I want to reward people that are investing their time on the platform. So you have to re-engage.
Okay.
It's a full-time job.
It is. I'm like, this is why people just need you.
This is why I can keep so many people employed.
Wow. Okay. Okay. We're going to put a pin in that. That's enough to work on. When we were originally just kind of chit-chatting, we were talking about 3 types of content people can engage in to either boost a PR campaign or unique things that they can consider posting. Now that we know, we got to go into overdrive on Instagram and TikTok. So what are some tips that you have for us as far as the types
one
of
thing that I love to do is when we work with somebody, we batch our content. So we will have a shoot, we'll have our professional, pretty pictures, we'll have our great video, but then we like to sprinkle that in with some real-time raw content. So, UGC style, which is like you holding up your iPhone, speaking to it, putting, text over or doing a voice over on B-roll. I think when you're able to mix the very professional and aesthetic content with some of the raw and real-time content, your page performs better. And it doesn't feel as salesy. Like, you don't want to sell to people. You want to relate to people so that you can build trust. And then once you build trust and they find that you're able to provide a solution to their pain point, that's when they reach out to you. And same for our business. We are a service-based business. So many people have a social media pain point or a paid advertising pain point, and they just want to pass that off to somebody to help support them. But at the same time, you have small business owners that can't do that. So I would suggest batch your content, put a plan together. We like to plan 4 weeks of content at once because that makes us not feel overwhelmed. Like you don't want to wake up and be like, what am I posting today? You want to know.
That's me.
You have to plan, you have to time block for it.
That really was me a couple days ago. I was like, what am I posting today? And it's sad because I have sadly probably like 50,000 photos, a combination of photos and videos in my phone. I have plenty to post.
You do, especially if you're doing podcasts, like you should be clipping down all these interviews
I got
and you could
clips.
do a 15, 30-second video from, you can make 10 of those from an interview and
Oh
just
yeah,
use
I can't
that.
wait to do this one, Madison. I can't wait to clip the moment you officially stressed me out. Oh yeah, we're gonna have clips.
Okay, tag me and I'll collab with you.
But yeah, I have, even for that, I use Opus. So I like Opus.
Yes.
For my live streams, I use StreamYard, and now StreamYard has the AI generated clips built in. So they're seeing the importance in it and trying to make it easier for us as well. So I get it. It's just like it's a full-time job. But I think the important thing that you mentioned is time blocking. If you are the person, or maybe you do have a small team, just the time blocking it out to make sure that it gets done and you don't start your day and then you get pulled to the left and then you pull to the right. I totally get it.
And don't stress yourself out. Like Instagram even put something out there a couple weeks ago where they're like, we're not going to penalize you if you don't post for the day. Like it's not the end of the world if you don't post that day. So just post when it feels right, when you have a plan, and you want to make sure that your message is clear and concise. And you have to kind of, beat people over the head with the same message over and over again. Like it literally takes so many times for somebody to be able to finally digest what you're saying.
Okay. Anything else, Madison? This has been great. I think this is, sorry, my cat is going nuts. This has been great. What else can you think of before I try all of this out and go download all of this
I would
as soon as we
also,
get done?
so I would look at two things, especially when it comes to Instagram. Look at your feed and I would update it. I would make sure that your um name in Instagram, so say like your name is Leah Frazier. For example, mine says Madison Hollimon, social branding expert. Like I want people to know as soon as they see my name what I do. So you want to make it super simple. If you are a business owner, you want to be verified. That's something that you can pay for every month. So get verified, make sure your name actually says what you do, and update your bio. Like make your bio very straightforward with what you want people to know about you. If you have a special offer, if there's a specific service or product you're trying to push out in the moment, make sure that it's very clear what you're doing. And then look at your analytics. Figure out the best time of day that you're supposed to be posting where you get the most engagement. Look at who your audience is and where they're located so that you know, okay, this is the type of content I need to push out. This is what time I need to post it. Personally, I post all my content between 8 and 10 p.m. because I'm speaking to other entrepreneurs or small business owners. And what are we doing from 8 to 10 p.m. at night? We are usually laying in bed,
We're working.
we're on the couch, on our phone,
Scrolling.
checking emails or scrolling.
That's so smart. Okay, and then I'm going to have to check out your Instagram on how you did your name and then go change mine as well. So this isn't in the bio, it's in the title part. It's in the name.
Correct. You change the
not in
actual
username.
name. Yes.
Oh,
It's so not your username, your name.
the name. Oh, goodness. All right, guys. So we have homework given to us by Madison, and now I can understand why you have a mad marketing house. You're driving all of us mad with all of these tips, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to work phenomenally. So, Madison, this has just been amazing. How can people connect with you, get more tips, follow you? Just go ahead and dump it all in.
Just follow us on Instagram, Mad Marketing House. We post a lot of educational content just like this to basically help you. So we would love to have you follow us and send us a message and tell us how you found us.
Well, thank you so much, Madison, for your time. We're super excited. I've got my work cut out for me. I thought I was doing good. You came on here and you told me, you know what, Leah, you could be doing better. So when I blow up, I'm going to be just like your dad. I'm going to hit you up and I'm going to annoy you too. I just got 30,000 more followers. So you guys know what to do. If you heard something that you like, please hit Madison and her crew up on social media. But you can also like, comment, and share this episode. And stay tuned. We have more fabulous guests just like Madison coming. And there you have it. Thank you so much, Madison, for being the rock star that you are and dealing with my ADHD going all over the place, because she was just throwing it at me. And if you watch the visual episode on YouTube, I'm just kind of like, what? I have to do what? And so thank you so much for your expertise. I'm so excited. I actually am going to download the Edits app and start doing my Instagram reels within Edits and stop doing it in CapCut. I'm going to keep CapCut for TikTok, of course, but just even those little switches that Madison talked about, like, TikTok having to post several times a day, and Instagram, making sure you're posting about 4 or 5 times a week. I'm trying to work my way up to that. And I know the funny thing is that I know I have the content to do it. I just get sidetracked with doing everything else. And so I'm going to be really intentional with it, just like I am with this podcast and posting and publishing and all of that. I'm going to take it a step further with my social media, and I hope that you will too. So if any of these tips help you, you know what you're going to do. You're going to reach out to me at PR Yourself Podcast on Instagram, or you can go to the website, pryourselfwithleahfrazier.com, or hit me up personally, either on LinkedIn or on Instagram at the Leah Frazier, and tell me how these tips are helping you. If they're helping you to secure any type of deals, or they're helping to grow your brand, or maybe you got a press or a media mention, please let us know. We want to shout you out. We did have some, I forget what type of brand it was, but they listened to an episode and they were able to book a news interview, and they mentioned us in the news interview. And we were also mentioned on the news website for the advice that was given to help them book the interview. So a shout out there to a listener that was very successful in booking their interview. So you know what to do. If this helped you out, please comment, share, rate, leave us a great rating, because it helps us to bring on more amazing guests that can help you and your brand even further. And if you have episode suggestions, like I received one the other day, so I'm going to be looking into that and quite possibly doing a solo episode for next week on those tips. And so keep sending them my way. This podcast is for you. And so you know what to do. You're going to like, comment, share, rate, and review. And get yourself together for next week, because it's going to be even more PR tips that you can use and abuse. So until next time.